Hello and welcome. This is Patti of Pink Moon Lodge, formerly Pink Moon Lodge, and I am coming to you solo today with some important announcements. And also, as you probably noticed, I'm on a train. So, well, first of all, I just want to say we will not be doing a Pink Moon Lodge podcast this week. Amy and I will be doing our own separate projects. She'll be announcing on Pink Moon Lodge on our Facebook page her upcoming projects. And I'm excited to announce that my new project and podcast is with a very, very dear old friend that some of you may know, Taylor Callahan. So we are working out the details and the name of it. And Taylor is really, really special to me because we are soul sisters. And I've often thought of her as my daughter, but also a sister and so forth. And one day she said, we've been everything. We've been sisters, mothers, lovers, daughters, husbands. We've been all of that. And if you're somebody who believes in many lifetimes, which I do and Taylor does, you know, we've been a lot of things throughout many different lifetimes. And when you meet somebody that you have journeyed with before many, many different times, many different roles, um, there's a certain quality of the relationship that is very, very unique. Um, who was it? Oh my goodness, the sleeping prophet, Edgar Casey. Edgar Casey once said that what we do from lifetime to lifetime is, well, with the circle of people around us, is that we pick up where we left off. And if there are things we still need to work out, then we work them out. And we continue to learn and grow and heal together on a soul level. Um, and so Taylor and I thought that it would be an amazing podcast for us to come together weekly, hopefully, and have just ordinary conversations about things that are going on in the world, things that, all kinds of things, the kinds of things that we talk about normally, but we'll be doing it publicly. And we've often said that um, our our conversations could go anywhere. There's a kind of and and if you haven't had this experience yet, I hope you do. Where there's a kind of ease in these kinds of relationships. Like we've been around each other so many different times and in so many different ways, that there's a kind of ease in the relationship, and we can talk about all kinds of things, and we can push each other without, feeling hurt. We can be direct with each other, challenge each other, and without worrying about hurting each other's feelings. Because we're just two old souls that have been around each other long enough to not really um, ever think that we would hurt each other's feelings. Like you don't, that doesn't really happen in our relationship, no matter how many differences we have, no matter how much we might disagree with each other. That doesn't happen because there's just such a deep old sense of knowing and loving each other that goes beyond all of that. Um, and I think the reason why we wanted to bring our conversations publicly, is because we both believe that we are living in a time when people will be finding um, soul family. they'll be finding connections that they have not been able to have before. So deeper connections, familiar connections, people that they meet and they feel that they have known for a long time beyond even this lifetime. And I do believe, given um, the moment in human history that we're living in, kind of this great awakening, that there is a kind of coming together of um, people, of souls who have been looking for each other for a really long time. And so it is um, just a tremendous blessing beyond words when you meet up with and are in the presence of those souls who have been looking for you or waiting for you for a very, very long time. So we are that to each other. And we think that that in and of itself has great value. We're able to laugh more easily with each other about all sorts of things and share on deeper and deeper levels what's going on in each other's lives with a full acknowledgement that, we've done this before. So we've done this before. Um, and there's a kind of comfort in that kind of experience. So I imagine that podcast will start up um, probably within the next couple of weeks. Again, we're really, really excited about it. And we're looking forward to sharing the conversations with you. I think they're going to be a blast. Both Taylor and I like to say that we've been through the spiritual school of hard knocks. So, no gurus, no, teachers, no, we really didn't go that route. Um, we really, yeah, we call it the spiritual school of hard knocks, where we've had some, both of us have had challenges in our lives that have brought us to the brink of spiritual awakening. And that's um, that's the school of spiritual hard knocks. And so we're going to share a lot of that story, those stories. There's so many to share, and we're just going to have conversations about what's going on in the world. Um, what does spirituality look like? Taylor is an herbalist and a mother of four rambunctious boys. So she has lots of mother stories to tell, and those stories are precious. Um, I I love hearing them, and I'm sure that yeah, there's going to be a lot of laughter and levity with those stories as well. Now, right now, the train is kind of sitting on the tracks, but I wanted to do this with you today because, well, first of all, I love trains. I love train travel. I'm not crazy about traveling by plane. And I don't know if you've been hearing, but there's some cray stuff happening on planes lately, which just makes me more reluctant to get on them. What I love about traveling by train is that, well, first of all, you can't really be in a rush. Like this isn't for people in a hurry. And so what that means is that the vibe on the train is so much different. If you're traveling by car, everybody's on the highway and they are, you know, trying to make time. If you're traveling by plane, same thing. People just want to get to their destination as quickly as possible. If you're traveling by train, there's the whole experience of just being on the train and traveling through the countryside and seeing parts of the country you haven't seen before. So I love that. And right now we're kind of rolling through Virginia. I got on the train in Georgia in the middle of the night, and I'll be arriving. I'm not really sure what time because the train is a little delayed. But hopefully by the end of the day, I will be up in Massachusetts, where to visit my mother and my sister and my brother. So I do this once a year. I kind of travel by train up to Massachusetts and enjoy the countryside and enjoy the view of all of these little towns and countrysides as we move through the different states. And it is a real different way of traveling. And because I love a metaphor, I often think about how trains are very much like life, right? It's really about the journey. It's about the stops along the way. It's about what you see and who you meet in the experiences and the memories that you make along the way. Um, that's so important. So a train is very much like a metaphor for life. And there's a way that it just allows you to travel more slowly and more contemplatively, more quietly. Think about the movement of your own life um, and the experiences of your own life, and what that journey has been like for you, especially if you're traveling home, like I do. So I live a long way. I live quite far from where I grew up. And so every time I go back home, it's almost like traveling a little bit in time. You go back to places that are familiar, but not quite. They're not that familiar anymore. But the memories of the people you knew when you were there and here, and the experiences that you had, and some of the memories are quite joyful, and some of them might be memories of heartache, heartbreak. um, so going back to these places where we've lived before. Um, these are the kinds of things that come up and the things that we remember. And it's almost like in our mind's eye, in our imagination, we are traveling back in time to those memories. Um, and even if there are memories that might sting a little, it is an opportunity to return to them from a different perspective. Because after all, I am not the same person I was when I left. I've had so many more experiences. There have been so many more stops along the way, the train of my life, and that have changed me. We all change and grow and mature and hopefully grow wisdom. And so when we return to these places and we have the experience of traveling back in time and having these memories roll out in our mind's eye, it gives us an opportunity perhaps to embrace beautiful memories and perhaps heal some of the things that still sting. So I'm aware of that sort of thing when I travel back. Are there memories that still sting? Because if there are, then I guess they need a little healing still. And so traveling back can be illuminating. if we allow it, we let it in. You say, wow, I really feel differently about this and this, but gee, I still feel a little bitter about that. Because ultimately, on the train ride of life, the baggage that we don't want to carry with us is the baggage of bitterness. So if we're bitter, if we're still stinging about things that we revisit when we go home, then what a wonderful opportunity to contemplate that and think of ways to heal that so that we can kind of throw our bitterness baggage off the train and travel a little lighter as we go. Um, Fill our baggage more with love and with beautiful memories, um, and with desire to tell stories. So those are the things that I think about on this train. And as I make my way closer and closer to the place I grew up, I am very much looking forward to spending time with my family. One of my favorite things to do when I'm up there is to spend time with my sister in her garden. She has a big plot and a community garden. And there you go, there's another metaphor. And I find my mind wandering when she and I are in the garden and we're weeding, watering, or we're picking tomatoes from a plant. I think, how is this garden and these weeds and this plant and this tomato, how is that like life itself? How is this garden a metaphor for my life? So I like to think of these kinds of experiences metaphorically because it's how we understand more about what's going on in our lives. And because I'm a hopeless storyteller and I love a good metaphor, so does Taylor. So we're going to have an awful lot of fun together. I look forward to our time together, and I hope that you join us on our train ride. There's plenty of seats, there's plenty of room. We'd love to have you join us on our train as we um, come together to create a podcast together that tells stories, um, and remembers memories of beauty and sometimes not so beautiful, but it's all worth sharing and telling. And so I look forward to that. So I will keep you posted. And the next time you see me, I'll be with Taylor. We'll do an announcement together about our show. She won't be on the train with me, but she'll be on the metaphorical train with me, and just as you will join us, you're all invited. You all have tickets to jump on our train, and we'd love to have you travel with us. So I will keep you posted. We'll be making an announcement, and until then, happy travels. Watch what you have in your baggage, and I will talk to you soon. It's Patti Lucia. Till next time.